Ay, ay, I feel so futuristic. I think I need a chicken biscuit. CFA, CFA, CFA.
Oh God.
CFA, CFA, CFA.
No Sunday.
CFA, CFA.
What?
CFA, CFA, CFA.
Oh God.
CFA, CFA, CFA.
No Sunday.
CFA, CFA, CFA.
My pleasure.
CFA, CFA, CFA.
What?
CFA, CFA. Give me the number one. Still no.
Yo. Welcome to the Inside Wolves podcast. We are your beacon for entertainment and enlightenment. My name's Q, my co-host.
What's going on? It's your boy AJ, aka Juan, aka Juju. What's going on?
Whoa. Wait. Hold up. Wait. It's your boy Pop Smoke. Yeah.
All right, bro. I'm like, where you finna go with this? Okay.
What's going on? It's your boy Jay Hefe. What's going on, everybody?
And how are you guys feeling this fine, this fine weekend coming into? Happy holidays, gentlemen. How are y'all?
Yeah, happy holidays to y'all too, man.
Yeah, man. Hate this holiday, but look what it is. You know what I mean? Never been Christmas Day.
I'm down here in Alabama, spending some time with the in-laws, my girl's people.
Dang, Alabama.
I was gonna say Alabama.
I ain't never been to Alabama. I never even met nobody that been to Alabama.
You ain't missing out on nothing.
I'm about to say, what did they even got up there, Alabama? Like
you're not missing out on nothing.
So some not so happy holidays and some country holidays, and hey man,
right.
We doing what we do. So
it's
happy holidays to those
Christmas
listening as well. But so then I guess let's go ahead and transition ourselves into today's topic for the episode, and I want to shine a light on entrepreneurship versus a 9-to-5 job. It's not really so much a matter of one is actually better than the other. It's just a matter of preference. You go ahead and say, well, you live your life how you choose to live your life. But, especially being in our 20s, young adults, not so much growing into adulthood, and we're not, so far down the line that we have established careers. We're just trying to figure this out like everybody else around this age. So we want to kind of open up that discussion about that, just really in general, to be honest. And so, I want to start this off with a little happy, brighter side of this. I want to address positives really to both, really shine a light that there's not really a wrong way, or what's your preferable way to live life may not be their preferable way to live life. So
that's true.
Positives of both, I would think, hey, let's start off with 9-to-5. What positives does a 9-to-5 bring to your life, working one anyway? As mundane as they can be, depending on what it is that you're doing.
And they are.
Yeah. It really can be, depending on what you're doing. It brings great structure to your life. I think it brings an underrated structure to your life, especially one that's actually kind of missing direly once you leave school. I think that that's something that a lot of people find having a hard time to do, is making good choices, productive choices to fill up 12 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours of your day. If there's nothing to do, a lot of people mess around and get into trouble if they're left to their own devices. So having some time there just set aside to make some money, that's a real good positive to add right there.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's a good security type of thing as well too.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of people as well too, I know, me personally as well, myself, it definitely helped, like you said, just create a structure and kind of a routine that I know I had to get into every single day. Because not 9 times out of 10, if you have a 9-to-5 type of job, full-time type of job, you either work the same hours, same days a week. So if you're not used to having that routine type of style in your life, it definitely adds that type of element to it. But that's the really only positive that I mean, the stability as well too. There's a lot of stability that comes with those 9 to 5 type jobs. But to be truthful, I really hate them. So I'm ready to get to that point where we can start refuting this because I do not like them. I got a lot to say about those.
Yeah.
How you feeling, Juan?
Take it from me personally. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely agree with what Javen said when it comes to that 9 to 5. Me personally, 9 to 5 is not for me. Some people have that in their life, where when it comes down to, doing the same thing every day. Some people like doing the same thing every day and not having to have that sense of like responsibility and everything like that when it comes to managing and business and being an entrepreneur yourself, because at the same time you're gonna take some losses. Not a lot of people like the fact that they have to take the bad that comes with the good when it comes to having something of your own and stuff like that. Not a lot of people will be like, you know what, I'll take the failure as long with the positive as well. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of people like that, not knowing and guessing and waiting on the right time of whenever whatever you're doing decides to blow. Not a lot of people like that. So a lot of people decide to just, well, I'm gonna just go get this job at a warehouse or a plant or something and retire after 40 years. Like I said, me personally, that's not for me. I'm not retiring in my 60s. I just can't. I can't give my body and my time away from my family for 40 years, and then after that, I'm just old and frail, and then I want to have fun. I can't have no fun in my damn 60s, bro. I'm not finna do that.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. I think that's a big thing that you touched on right there as well, Javen, and even bouncing off of what you said as well, Juan, the stability aspect. Quite frankly, and it's not even a negative kind of a thing towards people. Some people just don't really have a drive to do anything outrageous or over the top or overzealous, not even necessarily make some super lasting impact on society. They just simply want to go ahead and make sure that their family can eat, make sure that they can eat, make sure that they can do whatever it is that they're trying to do.
Right.
And they just want to go ahead. I give you 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You give me X amount of money so I can do X, Y, and Z. We're good. I see no need to change this deal up. There's no need to risk this stability to make a few more hundred. But I'm good here. I got everything I need with this straight.
My bad. A lot of people don't want more out of just life. Like a lot of people are okay with being, complacent and not moving forward. Like I said, just like Javen said, like it's just not for me. I'm not cool with being at the same point.
Where the question comes in at though is, I guess really for that would be like, at what point does that point of like you said, complacency become, I guess, a negative necessarily? So it's kind of like, I have my family. Let's say I have a 9 to 5. I have my family. This job I'm putting in my 30 years at, it's taking care of all my bills and my family. I'm able to save some money for my kids' college and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a bad place to be complacent at?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it comes down to the point where you're, my bad, Javen. You go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Like if it come down to the point where you, like you say, you doing your hours at work and stuff, and you paying for your bills, groceries, and then on top of that, you paying for your kids to go to school, and then after that, you left with just being check to check for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying?
No, they're saving as well. I'm saying, and that
saving as well.
It's just, I mean,
if
that's how I'm looking at it, because it's just like, all right, you said all these things about, okay, yeah, I'm taking care of my family, got a little bit of money as saving, but what do you have to show for yourself personally? Like, now it becomes like, okay, I've taken care of, what I had to take care of as far as like, the people that I have in my life. But then it's like, okay, so do I have anything like to actually show for myself? Like, am I actually happy at that point? So if you're like being in a complacent place like that, it's just kind of like you're not really striving to get yourself some more, or even get your family some more. If that's how you get your happiness by providing for your family. Why you want to go?
That's what I would say is probably that's what they would have to show for it. Their kids are in a good school. Their kids have a future as far as going to college. They've got a little savings. They go on vacations, 2 times a year. That their family's happy.
And you did what you were supposed to do at that point.
So that's cool, right? So what happens after that?
What do you mean? Like after the kids go?
Yeah, after everybody's grown. I'm saying like what?
Well, I mean, you're retiring. Just get your payment out of retirement.
But it's just like, because you have some people that, like I said, at that point, it's like, they don't even know what else to do with themselves because they never did anything for themselves.
I'd imagine at that point, it'd just be kicking back.
Man.
My kids is out the house taken care of. I put my X amount of years in. I can go ahead and kick back and they'll pay me until I'm out of here.
Man, but you could have did that you could have did that a smarter way without having to give your body and also not take away as much time away from your family. You still could have did that.
I think that's about it. I was going to say.
I think that's a perfect transition right there.
You know what I'm saying? Those 40 years, you understand you're saving, you putting your kids through school, you paying the bills, so you're not going to have time to be with your family, even though you're doing all these things for your family. There's still a smarter way to do that. I mean, not like you said, if that's what someone chooses to do, that's on them. However, is an easier way to do things like that. It just comes down to, do you want to chance it?
I think that's a perfect transition right there that you brought up into the difference in the mindset. So I'll let you go ahead and take that away there, Juan. The difference in when you're working a 9-to-5 versus trying to be an entrepreneur. Where's your mind got to be at in both of those frames?
I honestly think, okay, so let me just start off on entrepreneurship. It's just pretty much when you start something like that, you put yourself in a very, very wide range of, I'm trying to figure out a word to say it, but like, for a fact that it's not going to be just you doing this. If you understand what I'm saying, when it comes to entrepreneurship, regardless of if you were just like a photographer or anything like that, like
the field you're getting in?
Yeah, whatever field you're getting in is what I mean.
A lot depends on you.
There's people going to be doing the exact same thing. It just comes down to what exactly are you going to do to make yourself stand out? You know what I'm saying? Because that's why I always say it's the difference. Even when it comes to entrepreneurship, there's a difference in actually being an entrepreneur and being someone who's just decided to enter a field doing something they probably have a passion for, but not really making any change when it comes to seeing how that market is to actually make profit or be successful. Right. That's why I say it's a difference because some people do it just because it's like, oh, it's just a hobby. And then you have like those like 1%ers who find the hobby and then they have that success. That's a true entrepreneur, because when it comes down to you liking something so much, people not going to like that. Not everyone's going to like everything that you're going to be putting out as an owner. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone's going to, you're going to find a lot of hits, and that's just what comes down to it, up until you find your niche that gains you that success and everything like that. And then on the other hand of when it comes to like those 9-to-5ers, like sometimes I can say I will salute people when it comes down to those 9-to-5ers, because they take a lot of stuff, bro. They take a lot. Like when it comes down to like we said, doing those, let's say you just do minimum 40 hours a week. Your average person who does 40 hours at work a week sees their coworkers more than they see their family. So even when it comes down to you working and making these sacrifices for your family, I salute you, because I understand you're doing that for your family, but I know how it hurts because you're doing all this, but you can't see them at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
That's real shit. And then when it comes, think about that.
When it comes down to the people who are just complacent, like you, let's just say you just working 9-to-5, but you just like screwing off every check you get, even though you still like, and I'm just saying this for the person who's not saving to do something or to get themselves out of that situation. Let's say it's just that 9-to-5er, just working, paying bills, but let's say you don't want to actually own something. You just like working for somebody else. I don't know why, but let's just say you like working for somebody else. Even at that point, you don't see yourself like moving up to, if you don't want to quit that job, at least put yourself in a position at that job to make more money. If you just like, I'm gonna just do the bare minimum, cool with being check to check, bro, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
like
a
you have
no-go.
no goals. Yeah, like nah. But that's pretty much it.
That's I really ain't like, yeah, we said that that average person working a 40-hour shift, 40 hours a week, probably spend more time with their coworkers and their family. I didn't even think about that. That's actually some real shit.
Depending on when you head into work.
Yeah. That's actually crazy. And all that just to work for somebody else, to make somebody else's dreams come true and not your own. That's crazy.
Especially if it comes down to that like mandatory overtime, and then that 8 hours you had to work that day turns into 9, 10, 11.
Right.
You're going to see them coworkers a lot more than you see your family, and you waking up every day going to this CEO who started their own company, and this nigga laying in the bed sleep. You waking up 6 a.m., leaving your family behind, you know what I'm saying, leaving them at the house because you got to go make money. Instead, you could have, you know what I'm saying, just take your time, whatever free time you have, and just find something you like to do as a hobby that you can profit off of, you know what I'm saying, so that you don't got to keep working. You can still have that time with your family. At least that's how I look at it. That's how I look at it personally.
I wanted to flip it back with another question towards y'all, I guess I could really kind of say. And that leads into what you were just saying, Juan. You're speaking a lot about like the hours spent in which, it's very true. You go in the morning, come back in the evening, you know what I'm saying? Most you're going to do with your family is probably have a meal and then get ready to go to sleep.
Yeah.
You're not really,
it's a cycle.
You know what I'm saying? You're not really hanging out. That time for that comes on days off or on the weekends. And we all know those go by too quickly.
Right.
So I guess really the question I'd be flipping back, which would be also what I'm thinking as well, is what's the difference in like the workload / kind of just in general what you have to do when you're an entrepreneur as opposed to working like a 9 to 5? Because I would imagine, when you're working for yourself and like you're an entrepreneur yourself, and it's in agreement of what you're saying, like the 9 to 5, you're spending more time with your coworkers and your family. That's very true. But when you're doing, let's just say you're running like a little business yourself, like you're selling like a product. I don't know what it would be, whatever. It's just you're selling a product of some kind. Especially if you want to get it in like in-person stores and things, there's a lot of people you got to call, a lot of people you got to talk to, a lot of money,
connects, a lot of networking.
You got to dell out a lot on your own, and that's a lot of work in itself, So what would y'all say are some differences in those workloads and styles?
For that, I feel like, and like, let me know if I'm tripping or not, but I think entrepreneurship is a lot more of a mental and emotional type of workload than it would be as far as obviously like a physical, like 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And really because like you just said, there's a lot of tasks that you have to accomplish within that day just to get yourself one step further, closer to being at your final project or like your final phase and getting everything set up. But then on top of that, like one thing that goes unsaid in a lot of this as well, and like people probably a lot of times think or forget that and kind of think that it's easy to start something up, is that there's a lot of lack of confidence issues that go into something like that. Like take a podcast, for example. Like I know me personally, and y'all can speak on it too, but like there's a lot that you have to overcome, like mentally, like, okay, it's like people actually gonna fuck with it, like they gonna like me, like am I too much this, am I too much that? Like so there's a lot that people go into like thinking that every single day. A lot of businesses fail like that before they even start. They fail, you know what I mean? So I think that it's like the workload for being entrepreneurship is really, not to say that it's more, but it can definitely weigh a lot heavier, in my opinion, like as far as like the mental.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. It's not necessarily more tasks. It's just kind of what you're doing. It hits different, really.
Yeah, you know?
Because
really
that's
just
your
hits
personal.
Yeah,
You personally spilling your, regardless of, just not even just time, money and true emotions into a passion of yours.
yeah,
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And having, not a lot of people got that personality to be like, oh, well, this person don't like it. Well, that's okay. I'm gonna just move on and still push myself out there. A lot of people will be like, oh, this person said this, and that. They think I should change this, and that. When it comes down to you being an entrepreneur and just having anything of your own, bro, don't. It's. I'm not gonna say don't listen to what people say.
Mm.
However, just don't go too far off to the point where you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the entertainment of other people. It still has to be something enjoyable and something that you like to do, because nigga, it's your shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't try and change so much for your audience or the buyers or just whatever, and to the point where it changes what you actually like to do and the reason you actually started whatever business this is.
You got to be able to appropriately say fuck it, in a sense.
Yeah.
That when it comes to
like, I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Yeah, like I don't care. Fuck it. Like you gotta take a chance on yourself.
I think something also that I think is definitely underlooked or underrated. I mean, especially amongst younger people trying to become successful, is something you guys spoke about. Once a lot of those tracks are laid and you put a lot of things like in motion and you put a lot of things on your plate, I think people maybe underestimate the fact that there's like now a daily standard that you have to maintain that is not necessarily just rolling out of bed and carrying on.
Yeah.
You got some people to report to. You
Right.
got some numbers to crunch. You got some stuff to make. You don't just get to wake up and, oh, it's Saturday, I'm going to do absolutely nothing except for watch Netflix and eat food today. No.
Yeah.
When you enter entrepreneurship, those days are done. Even on your most lazy days, you got to do at least a baseline level of a few tasks to make sure the ship stays afloat. And that's something I think a lot of people, that's more so the things as far as like the 9-to-5 goes. I think that people really tend to value more over that, Like, I'm not necessarily, like I said, a lot of people, they may think for their sake, necklace, a really nice car, like a super nice car, a super big house, for all the extra stress, it's not all the extra, the way that they're looking at it, all the extra stress for all these extra bills, not really worth it for me. I'll just go ahead and go brain dead for 7 hours and come back and live my life.
Exactly.
Nah.
But and then again, like I said, it depends on the 9-to-5 as well. Because some 9-to-5s actually, I mean, it's a job, but can be looked at as a career in some lights.
I mean, and as far as that workload thing, I mean, too, like some 9-to-5s, like literally, are just physically so demanding that like that workload is just like crazy. Like you come home,
you just be tired.
It's tired. And then another thing as well too is like, and I experienced it firsthand because my father did it all the time, is a lot of times when you work with somebody else, you might have to commute very far. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that isn't like your job, like at work, and you may have like a desk job at work. But if you have to, like, for example, my dad drove from Maryland to Philly every single day, like there and back. That's a 3.5-hour drive, like on a good day. Like, and then to come home and then get up and do the same thing like the next, that's just like physically like
that's tiring.
Like that's crazy.
After that is
that's tiring.
So,
and I'll be over here complaining about my 45-minute drive.
Right, man. Like it's
tiring. That's really tiring. And that leads into like, I mean, just to even briefly really touch on it, just the stress of work, period, in both sides of the field. Entrepreneurship, 9-to-5, man, everybody's stressed. It's different levels of it for sure. Like you said, I'm complaining about my 45-minute drive, but yo's taking damn near 4 hours to get to work.
Yeah, that's crazy.
From every day. Like,
and that's like you said, a good day.
Yeah, on a good day. And then like we was just discussing as well, entrepreneurship, the stress on their end. not really too many off days anymore when everything kind of weighs on your shoulders, at least financially. Everything kind of weighs on your shoulders now. You know, that stress, that's a different level of stress in itself too.
Man, one thing that I will say is like, and it's crazy because I dealt with it personally. Like I recently have just like was going through this, man. It's like working at like a 9 to 5 or like a full-time type of job. When you have things going on outside of your job, it is very, very, very stressful to have to go into your job and deal with other people's problems on top of what you have. And me personally, I had to take time away from my job, like to actually get my mental and emotional state like in some type of order. You know what I mean? And that's real shit. Like I never thought that I would have to ever do that, but it's something that I had to do. And to make it even more stressful, it's like because you are not your own boss, you don't do it on your own accord, you have to still kind of like fall in line and like do these guidelines of what your 9 to 5 like wants you to do. A lot of times when people try to do that, especially, you know, unfortunately like black folk like us, they don't be trying to believe that we actually got or even really try to sympathize with things that we might have to deal with outside of work. You know what I mean? Because a lot of our, you know, problems a lot of times come from our environment and like things that we see go up in and shit like that. So it's a lot like it's harder for somebody that doesn't grow up in that same type of way to be able to be like, I understand what you're going through. You know what I mean? Like you lost somebody that was real close to you. It's been, I understand that, but a lot of times no, they do not be like, you know what I'm saying? So it makes it a little harder to be able to want to actually go to work or even feel like you can try to take time off for yourself because they try to make it seem like you're doing a disservice to the job because you're not there trying to get yourself right. And that's fucked up. It's really crazy. Fucked up.
It's crazy.
No, it definitely is. That's like you just said, that's really crazy. The fact that that's kind of like the response whenever something like that is needed, you know. That's something I see a lot, just really in general, and it's something that's stressful as well. It's kind of like it's similar to what you were just talking about. Is like the disconnect from reality that people, the higher up they get on the chain, the more and more disconnected they become from like the workload. You know, they're expecting you to do a certain amount of things, to do a certain number of things a certain way, but if they were actually doing what it was that you're doing every day, regardless of if it's physical labor, whether you're even just simply selling samples in the mall, and they're expecting you to do it a specific way with a certain smile on your face after so many hours, it's just kind of like, bro, like you're not even treating me like a human being anymore, and that can be stressful on the mental.
It's funny, because those be the same managers that be like, man, and if you want to be where I'm at, it's definitely possible. Because I was in your shoes just 10 years ago doing the same thing that you were doing. You were like, all right, niggas, if you was doing the same shit I was doing, then don't you think you understand how I feel?
Exactly.
Like, that's crazy, yo.
It's definitely stressful, man. So then I guess really, even though y'all made your sides really apparent, I guess really, put it nice and concise for the people. What do you believe you should aspire to do? Just really in life moving forward, as far as making a living for yourself, 9 to 5, entrepreneurship, a mixture of both. How do you really view, personal opinion, you should aspire to, really live your life, at least gain finances?
My personal opinion, man, is you do whatever you really want to do at the end of the day. Now, what I say by that is there is no right or wrong way to really, let me not say that. There is a wrong way to go about things. There's a right way to go about things. Yeah. But as far as choosing which path you really want to pursue, whether it be working a full-time job or being your own boss, you could definitely go either way because it's not really about how you start. It's cliche, but it's really about how you finish at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So like me personally, I went to college first. Then, I had some things going on, scholarship issues, injuries, track and field. We talked about that in the first episode. Right. So, like, with that coming back home to my reality and my situation, I wasn't able to go back to school. But, picking up 9 to 5 jobs and stuff like that along the way. But that shit ain't, you know what I'm saying? That shit don't define me. Those are just stepping stones. I literally tell myself that every single time I get a new job. Say this is a stepping stone, so I can get to that next point where I'm gonna be my own boss and I don't gotta listen to nobody, and I can tell everybody what the fuck to do, because that's what I want to, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's gonna come down to. And feel me, this right here, in my opinion, what we doing together as a collective, this is a big milestone for me, because it takes a lot of initiative to start something like this. So feel me,
it does.
If you want to go to school, you know what I'm saying, and be a marine biologist, you can do that, work for a company, but then, you know what I'm saying, don't make it, you don't got to feel like that's all you have to do. You can be your own, you can start up your own company, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, opportunities are endless. So I would say, just do what you want to do at the end of the day, and don't try to make them let you feel like, yes, only to be put in a box, like stuck in one position. You can do whatever you want to do.
What you think?
I think just pretty much like what Javen said as well. Do whatever makes you happy, and also, regardless of it's that entrepreneurship or you that 9 to 5 person who just love working 9 to 5s for whatever reason. If you, all I can say is when it comes to that 9 to 5, just don't put your body and your family second. Even though I understand, you know, you got bills to pay and stuff like that. Like me personally, when it come down to even like how I am at work, I don't help nobody at work. I'm selfish, bro. Because what does me helping you? How does that help me get home faster? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm that guy. I'm not no team player. Like straight up, bro. I ain't no team player. I'm not helping you. You asked me to help you with this. Just to like give y'all an example. Like I pretty much like I drive forklifts at work, so you know I might be zooming by skirt. You know what I'm saying? Somebody, hey AJ, can you, hey Juan, can you drop this pallet? Can you do this? Can you do that? I tell folks no. No, because whatever I'm doing,
nigga, you see what time
you know what I'm saying? Whatever I'm doing, I'm trying to hurry up and finish that so I can get to the crib. You know what I'm saying? I'm not no team player, but anyway, like I said, just don't go out of your way for a company. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, these companies are ran by people who don't physically work. They're not doing that job that you're doing in that warehouse or sitting at that desk. They're not physically doing that and waking up at the times you're waking up. They're not doing that. So just always remember to put yourself first, regardless of it's financially, emotionally, physically. Just make sure you put yourself first and don't forget the end goal when it comes to the people who are 9 to 5s. Just think of it that way.
Yeah. I mean, without sounding, I'm not even going to try and sound like the third person to pretty much say the same thing with different words. I mean, you both pretty much summed it up entirely, really. Don't ever forget what it is that you're truly passionate about. And if you haven't found that, keep trying things until you do. May start off as just a habit now. Make sure you are taken care of. If you have a family, make sure they're taken care of by whatever means that needs to be done. Whether it's a 9 to 5 or you just decide, I'm going to go ahead out here and get it somehow. And just make sure you take care of your family and keep your passion alive until you can make that your primary. And again, reminder of the entrepreneurship thing, you know, it doesn't always define. It's not always even just down to like talent or like having some abstract care. You don't got to go from construction worker to rapper. You just got to be able to get, you know what I'm saying, take those construction checks and flip them into a couple Airbnbs. Go ahead and get you from construction down to a part-time job now, or even switch fields now that you have some passive income.
A lot of times it's about experience too. You know what I mean? So you take that construction job you had for 5 years. Maybe now you can be, you know, a project manager at a construction site.
Get your own truck and start
your own truck. Kyle Trucking. Shout out to my wife and kids.
Oh yeah. Top 3. That's top 3, and it's not 3.
That's top 3. It's not 2.
Like you just said, that's a very valid point, man. You guys both said it. Never really forget yourself. Don't lose yourself and what it is that you're doing. Remember that who you are is not necessarily just what you do. That's really all that there is to that.
Amen to that. Let's drink to
On that
that.
note, fellas, on that note, people listening, I'd like to thank y'all for another episode of Inside Wolves Podcast. Follow us on Twitter or Instagram, Inside Wolves on Instagram, Inside Wolves 1 on Twitter. And there's a link tree in either bio linking you to the YouTube, to the Twitter, to the Anchor, to the everything that we are on. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, share.
Like that shit.
We appreciate y'all for listening. We appreciate y'all for stopping once again. And on
Hit
that
that
note,
link tree. Hit that link tree.
Hit it up. Many good things are on the way. Many good things are on the way. And on that note, we are out.